Hello there. So today's theme is sleep. Sleep. Sleeping is so important. It's actually one of the most important things we can do for staying well and healthy, for making things work right in our bodies. Healthy sleep, healthy sleep. I can't say it enough. And today we're going to go over 3 popular sleep herbs. We'll go into them in detail, how to use them. But before we do, I want to mention that sleep is dependent on a healthy, nutrient-dense menu that is blood sugar stable, made up of whole foods. It's also, sleep comes from a healthy emotional life, a healthy restorative sleep. Also exercise, nature connection, so we're moving out in the sun and the rain. So we have an active, healthy life that's well nourished. Those are all ingredients for healthy sleep. Herbs are in addition to that. If they're not in place of that. Did I forget anything about healthy sleep? Yes. Screen time. We want to reduce the screen usage, especially 2 hours before sleep, ideally. Okay, so having said that, what's the best herb for you? Now, there are many herbs to choose from. In fact, we've created videos with nutmeg and chamomile and other herbs that you can also check out. Those are specifically, they're really good for sleep, but also for other things. Let's talk about the ones that I've put on the table today. So what these 3 herbs have in common, and most sleep herbs have in common, is that they're all calming. They usually help with anxiety. They help us to relax. They're hypotensive. That means they bring down blood pressure. So that's the sort of general, these sleep herbs generally do that. They're also classified as nervines, and often they're nerve tonics. What does that mean? Is that they actually tone the nervous system, including the brain. And so there's help in restoring health in the nervous system with these. The ones on the table happen to be more sedative or soporific nervines, so they bring sleep on. And so Valerian is probably the most popular sleep herb on the market. It has a stinky root that we use. By the way, I prefer to use tinctures for sleep. And general dosage is about 20 minutes before sleep. So you would take the drops, probably 30 to 50 drops, again, depending on you, 20 minutes before sleep. And if you were to wake up in the night, you would repeat that dose. But now back to Valerian. So why choose Valerian? Because I think of it as a heavier hitting, more sedating herb. It's more of a muscle relaxant, and it has the qualities of easing cramps. So when somebody has a lot of tension in their muscles as well, we could work with Valerian. The thing about Valerian, though, is that it's not necessarily great for people who have a lot of heat in their bodies. So if there's a high heat condition, Valerian may not be the right herb, although it might be. So this is a bit about experimenting with ourselves. But also Valerian can cause a speedy response in some people. So you have the possibility of doing the opposite thing. So that can happen. There's a small percentage of the population that will react in an adrenalized kind of state with the use of Valerian. So beware of that. Try it in small amounts at first and then see if it works for you. So that's Valerian. Let's go to Skullcap. Scutellaria lateriflora. Lateriflora is the species we're using here. And this is, by the way, Valeriana officinalis. That's the species here. So this Skullcap is a less sedating but still calming, anxiety relieving, and sleep inducing herb. It's also used for meditative state, so you want to relax and focus the mind. Skullcap can be appropriate there. And we would use Skullcap with more heated situations, more agitation, emotional agitation. So we have Skullcap as an option. It's a cooling, calming herb versus Valerian, which has perhaps a more warming quality. Skullcap, by the way, I love to gather this particular herb. It grows in deep woodlands up in the Catskill Mountains, where riverbeds begin to dry out in the peak of summer. And then when those flowering tops are happening, you make this gorgeous medicine. That's what's in here. We'll get to the tincture making in a second. But that quality of the deep woodlands with a moist, cooling energy reminds me of Skullcap as well, the energetics of Skullcap. And now let's move to Passionflower, or Passiflora incarnata. This is an herb that we use when we have mental diarrhea. We have looping thoughts. Our brain isn't quieting down. Skullcap has some of that. They all overlap, by the way, in qualities. They're not distinctly different, but I'm trying to give you a sense of their personalities, and then you can play with them. But back to Passionflower. So we have this cooling, nerve calming, anxiety calming sedative that helps quiet the mind more, I'd say, than the others. It's really when, and perhaps when there's even grief and issues running around in your mind where you're grieving and worrying. So we have Passionflower. Okay, so let's talk about quickly how we make them. Super quickly, this is just to give you a sense of when you buy the tincture that you want to know you have good quality. And the Passionflower is made with fresh or dried aerial parts. So you want tender leaves, flower, and tender tips, and that goes into this. And if you're using dried, it's a 1:5 ratio of herb to menstruum. And the menstruum is 66% alcohol. So that's where you're looking at that for making sure you're buying a good tincture, or if you want to make it. Okay, in terms of valerian, which I do grow in the garden, it's quite easy to grow. I encourage you to grow it. This particular one, I've used the dried root, freshly dried root, and I use a 1-part herb to 4-part menstruum, and that menstruum is 50% alcohol, 50% water. So that's valerian. And when you buy valerian, it should be stinky. It should have, funk going on. There's a funky zone in the valerian root. And then with Skullcap, I use a fresh wild, and it's a 1-part plant material, and that's the aerial part. That's with flower happening and leaf, and it's lovely. And we have 2 parts of the menstruum, and I'm using about a 75% alcohol to 25% water, and when I press it, I am left with about a 55% alcohol content tincture. Okay, so let's just recap. We have 3 herbs here that fall into the nervine category. That means nervous system tonics, but they're specifically soporifics. That means they induce sleep. And the more sedative one in this category is valerian. And then we have Passionflower and then Skullcap in terms of sedative intensity. And I'd say that the Skullcap and the Passionflower are more calming, cooling, from an emotional, mental place. Perhaps the Passionflower is stronger in that way. Skullcap could be more just in helping the mind focus, even not inducing sleep, but in creating a good focus and a meditation. And the valerian is really a sedative that calms the muscles and brings on sleep. There is the occasional person that this would have the opposite effect on. So you're going to experiment with these if you've never used them before. By the way, you can use them together. You can use them separate. You can use 2 of them. I make a combination tincture for sleep that has 5 different herbs. That's for another lesson. But I just wanted to give you a sense of these 3 nervines, which can be really helpful in encouraging healthy restorative sleep. As I always say though, whenever using a new food or herb, please go slowly, research them. This is just me sharing with you, but continue to develop your understanding of an herb and your specific relationship to that herb and your response, and then discuss using it with your healthcare provider. These particular herbs on the table are not, there is a caution around using them when you are drinking alcohol, when you're using central nervous system depressants like benzodiazepines or opiates or things like that. So these are potentially, they're meant, you have to be careful because you're double dipping in a sense. They affect the body in that same avenue. So you want to use caution. In fact, don't use these. Don't drink, in my opinion. Don't, if you can. So anyway, that's a concern and a caution not to use these herbs with central nervous system depressants. How do you use these? What's the dosage? Let's just make sure you understand that. So in tinctures, these are tinctures, you are going to be using, this is generally speaking, dosage wise, it's 30 to 40 drops, 30 to 40 drops, and I suggest 20 minutes before sleep. So, and you can put it straight in your mouth, but really I suggest you maybe take a teaspoon of water into a little cup and you put your 30 or 40 drops or the dosage that's appropriate for you into the cup. And then you drink this. So you're not drinking a lot of water before sleep. And you take, that's your dose, bloop, there you go. 20 minutes before sleep, 30 to 40 drops. And that's pretty general across the board for these three. Yeah, wishing you restorative sleep, happy dreaming.